Good evening and welcome back into Astros Recap. It is June 16th, 2019, 10:48 p.m. The Astros have wrapped up another week in the regular season. So very average week. They went 3-2, splitting with Milwaukee and then winning 2 of 3 against Toronto here over the weekend. Finished their homestand, I believe, at 5-3. Had a very good previous week. As I looked through my phone here, they took 2 or 3 from Baltimore and 3 or 4 from Seattle. They were 5-2, so very average week, going just 3-2, but and not so bad, I guess. I mean, they're 24 games over 500 at 48-24. The Dodgers have that exact same record. And then Minnesota is 47-23. So we're all 24 games over 500. Of course, Minnesota leads in the winning percentage by about 5 or 6 points. So, I mean, I can go back through the week here. A few things. Yordan Alvarez, who was called up Sunday, hit a home run. Briefly brought him up last week. His setting the league on fire. In fact, he's got 4 home runs in 6 games. He's also very patient, selective at the plate. He's walked. He doesn't chase a lot of bad pitches out of the zone. Now, today he was hitless, so today was probably his worst day as a major leaguer, but overall he's played very well, and he's hitting right in the middle of the order. I mean, he's driving the ball the other way. 4 home runs. He's hit 3, I want to say, to left field or left center field. Well, actually, no, 2 and 2. Because one of his home runs, the last one he hit on Saturday, was in the upper deck. Over, basically, well, just to the right of the Astros bullpen, I'd say, but he's got major power. He has hit no cheap home runs. All 4 have been absolutely, well, I take that back. So 3 of the 4 have been bombs. The other was hooked, just got over the wall down the right field line, but he's been pretty amazing. Definitely a show to watch. Must-see TV when he steps in the batter's box. Astros got absolutely crushed today, losing 12-0, so not a lot of good to talk about today, but yeah, it was kind of disappointing going into today, thinking that they would easily get this sweep, playing Toronto, and them not being such a great team. But just Peacock hasn't been that great. He was outstanding, and I brought him up on previous podcasts. But his last 2 starts, he's given up 4 earned in both, so it's been kind of a struggle for him. And then CNL Perez, who's a lefty in the bullpen for the time being. I mean, he's probably the best one they have, but he got absolutely rocked today, giving up 7 earned. So, yeah, that was a struggle, and kind of getting embarrassed in your home ballpark is kind of a shame. But I'm gonna need just a second here. Sorry. So yeah. Anyway. Trying to think here. If I go just quickly through these games, they won on Tuesday after the off day Monday, 10-8. Offense broke out. Peacock got the win, but he did give up 4 earned. And Tyler White hit a home run. Yuli Gurriel, of course, Yordan Alvarez and Robinson Chirinos. So, I mean, they put up 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 4 in the fifth, 2 in the seventh. It got a little iffy there at the end. There was a bullpen really struggled towards the end. That was Chris Davinsky giving up 3 earned. Presley was fine. Rondon gave up a run. But that's nothing new. That's what he does. But, yeah, I mean, Davinsky wasn't very good. He's kind of up and down. Just when you think he's turned the corner, he's thrown 2 or 3, 4 maybe scoreless outings, he then, gives up a crooked number. So he's still unreliable. Again, it's mostly Presley, Osuna, some Will Harris, and I like Josh James. So That's kind of what it looks like when it comes to back end, close game. I think that's what you'll see most of the time. But AJ Hinch also likes to use a rundown. I won't get into that, but that's just kind of how it is. So I mean, we were up 10-4. We allowed 4 runs there at the end, but still got the win. And then on, let's see, Wednesday, Justin Verlander got the start. Wasn't that great. He went 7 innings, so he got through that, but gave up 3 earned runs. Struck out 15, so new season high. I don't know if he's had, that might even be a career high. I'm not exactly sure. 15 strikeouts is quite a bit. So what Verlander's issue's been is he's been stuck on 9 wins for his last 3-4 starts, and it looked like he was leading everybody by a mile in wins at least. But yeah, well, I don't know exactly where he's at right now, but his issue is giving up home runs. Now most of them are solo, so they're not total crushing home runs, but he has an issue keeping the ball in the yard. That's kind of been his big thing, which isn't a huge deal. I mean, he's still 9-2, ERA at 2.41, so he's still pitching well. In this game, he actually went 14 innings, so he kind of messed up our bullpen now with the off day. The following day, Thursday, wasn't a big deal. Presley threw a scoreless inning. Osuna, Harris, James, Rondon all did the same, and then Perez gave up 3 earned in his second inning. When he's pitched to the bullpen, he's been going multiple innings. He's a starter in the minor leagues, so it's understandable. And they were running out of guys after Perez. I'm trying to think, they had one more guy left, and I don't think it was a good option. And then, yeah, so Perez, guy who got lit up today and didn't do a good job Wednesday, so I liked him at first, but now he's going to be on the list of guys you really can't trust. And they're not going to use Perez in a lot of high leverage situations, only if they have to. Today they were already down 4-0 when he came in, so he just kind of put us out of our misery, I'd say. But Perez is, struggling. Tough to lose that, but it's a split, so not terrible. And then, they won Friday 15-2, so they absolutely killed him. And Garrett Cole got the win. Lowered his ERA to 3.67. He went, 7 innings. 6. 2 runs there, both earned 10 strikeouts. And then Armenteros, a guy they brought up after that long 14-inning game. They needed a fresh arm. Trying to pronounce the first name. Rogelio. Can't really say it, but Armenteros, a guy that I was a little familiar with, minor league spring training, finally getting a chance. But again, he's like Perez in the sense he's only there to eat up innings, not really pitch in big games. So he finished the last 3 innings, so it also saved the bullpen. Osuna and Presley haven't pitched since that Wednesday, so they'll be well rested going into next week. They won Saturday very easily, 7-2. And then, like I said today, they get absolutely murdered, losing 12-0. Still outscored them in the series because of that 15-2 game. And the 7-2, I mean, they put up they were up 13 plus 5, 18 runs on them. So, I mean, Toronto closed the gap today, but if you're just talking run differential, we did still outscore them. So, quick week. I mean, it's just a 5-game. The off days on Monday and Thursday. This next week will be a 7-game week. Talked about, where we're at record-wise. That magical number of doubling up the amount of losses with your win total at 48 and 24. Hopefully they can continue to sort of keep that where it's at. Playing Cincinnati is not a great team for 3, and then you actually go into New York, the Bronx, and play them for 4. So that'll be an interesting series. As far as injuries go, we have a ton of them. Altuve's actually out on a rehab assignment, so he should be back Tuesday if all goes well. And if you remember, I actually brought this same thing up 2 or 3 weeks ago when they were getting ready to play the Cubs, and then he suffered a setback and was shut back down. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for Altuve. When Altuve gets back on Tuesday, if all things go as planned, that's about the same time Springer should go out on his rehab assignment. So depending on how long his rehab is, we'll be looking at him probably at the start of the following week, would be my guess. If he gets about 4 or 5 games, about 20, 25 at-bats. So those are the two that'll be back if all goes as planned. Again, I don't want to get ahead of myself because last time we did that, bad things happened with Correa's injury and Altuve's setbacks. So, and then as far as Correa and Diaz, they're going to be down the road. Diaz, I think I brought this up last week, did suffer a setback, mild setback. Experienced tightness, I think, in the hamstring, doing some running drills. So he's weeks away. And Correa, I can't even tell you, it's going to be probably after the All-Star break. So, but getting Altuve back is going to be big. I feel like it's felt like he hasn't played in forever. So, I mean, it was early May, and we're now into mid-June. So it's been a month and a half. So it has been a while. Springer got hurt. Grade 2 hamstring strain. Let's see if I can. I remember the day he actually got hurt because I was at the game. So it was. It was May 24th, I believe. So it's been, more than 3 weeks. So he'll be out just about a month if things go as planned for him, which probably isn't as bad as I initially thought. But that's kind of where we're at the injury front. Colin McHugh is still working his way back. In fact, he might be out on that rehab with Colin McHugh, or I should say, Jose Altuve. So he's probably really close to coming back. Max Stassi, haven't heard really any updates on him. And then, like I said, Correa and Diaz probably closer than Springer, but we're still looking weeks down the line. So that's kind of the injury update front there. It'll be good to get Altuve back in there at second. Tony Kim's been playing a lot of second base, so we'll probably move him back in the outfield. At shortstop, I mean, you have Jack Mayfield playing a lot of short, Miles Straw a little bit here and there. And then you can occasionally move Bregman from third over to short if you're moving Yuli from first over to third. And Tyler White when he gets his occasional starts at first base. But they have said Yordan Alvarez will get some time over there. And playing in Cincinnati, National League City, the pitcher has to hit. And they're going to want to keep Alvarez in the lineup for sure. He has played. He's mostly been the DH. I think on Saturday he did play out in left field. So he might see time in the outfield. Depends on what they want to do. But there's no DH for the next 3 days. So we'll see how AJ aligns things. You got a lot more. Well, not a lot more, but, playing in a National League ballpark, you really have to think about, your pitchers hitting, double switches, when you use pinch hitters here and there. So there's a lot more game planning that goes into managing in a National League ballpark. So we'll kind of see how AJ does it here. But, yeah, I mean, kind of excited to watch him play in Cincinnati, team that they played 3 years ago, but it was at home, so now they're on the road. We'll see. Cincinnati's not a very good team. In fact, if I look at their record right now, let's see here. They're last in the NL Central, 31-38. So the record's not terrible, but they're still a team we should, at the very least, take 2 or 3. And then New York's going to be a tough team, but they're actually getting healthy as we speak with Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. So it will be a different team than we faced in April when we swept them, and we play them for 4. So you're going to hope for 3 and 4. If I'm here in a week talking about a 5-2 week, I'm definitely going to be satisfied with that. So I'll probably wrap things up a little short this week. Like I said, only 5-game week. If I go, sometimes I give you a breakdown of the players. Be easier with numbers. They played 71 games, or 72 now. So 9 more games will be the exact halfway point. So I'll talk to you next Sunday, and then I might do like a, half season's half review of just all the players. That'll be kind of fun. But if Jack Mayfield, who was a guy that wasn't hitting well, he actually had 3 doubles on Saturday. But his hits are few and far between. He's probably going to find himself. It'll be interesting to see when Altuve gets back and Springer, which is hopefully the next time I talk to you, both of them will be back, who they actually end up sending down. I'd imagine Miles Straw probably. I wouldn't even be opposed to Tony Kemp. It's just hard for me to actually see that happening. But if I were to guess right now, I think Mayfield is going to find himself back in AAA, and I would say at this point, Fisher's already been sent down to bring up Alvarez, and then my other guess would probably be Miles Straw, just the odd man out. I mean, we love his speed. And like I said, Tony Kemp would be moved back to the outfield when Altuve gets back. So, but my 2 people right now, I'm guessing, it's going to be Miles Straw and Jack Mayfield. So we'll see how things turn out. There's no way they're sending Alvarez back. He's here to stay as far as things stand now. So, and then of course when McHugh comes up, which is probably around the same time Altuve does, they'll have to send. But you have options there with Armenteros and Perez. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know exactly how this is going to shake up, but I mean, Bregman's just, I'd like to get you numbers here, give you a better idea of how things, but Bregman hit leadoff today. He's hitting 269, so average not really there. He's been kind of moving back and forth. Brantley is a guy who's actually fallen into a slump. He's still at 311 average, but he was an 0 for 13 funk, and then he finally got a hit, and he was like 0 for 10. Didn't do much today, so Brantley's a guy that is experiencing struggles for the first time all year. Alvarez, as I mentioned earlier, first hitless day. Reddick's doing okay, 304. He was starting to fall off a little bit, which was to be expected with the hot start he got off to. But he had a few hits today, so he's okay. Chirinos, 244, so average. It's about which I'd probably expect. Like I said, on previous podcasts weeks ago, that if he could hit 250 and hit 20 home runs, he's actually hit 12 home runs, so he's well on pace to get at least that. But you get that, and Tyler White at 229, yeah, he's a mess. Tony Kemp, who's struggled, 233. Mayfield at 143, as I just mentioned, and Straw at 281. So that was at least who was in the lineup today. Jake Marisnick is another guy who's kind of fallen off a little bit, not playing as well. Talked about Brantley, Reddick. So, yeah, that's what things look like. And then from your pitching standpoint, talked about Verlander, talked about Cole. Framber Valdez, guy I never brought up, pitched really well on Saturday, did pitch really well again yesterday as well. So he's going to get chances pitching in that number 3 spot in the rotation for now, which is a fine option. He's proven his last 2 starts. Granted, not against very good teams, so we'll see. He's going to have a tough matchup facing the Yankees, whether it's Thursday, Friday coming up here. Or will he pitch Wednesday? Yeah, I think he actually will pitch Wednesday. No, he should pitch Thursday. Got my math wrong. But anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. I am now pulling up on about 20 minutes, so this short podcast turned to be a little longer. The other 2 pitchers, Wade Miley's been fine. He actually pitches tomorrow, so kind of weird that they actually skipped him. He was the 4th guy, and they went with Peacock today. A lot of days off, so AJ can kind of mix things up the way he wants. I actually think a reasoning for that is with Framber Valdez in that 3rd spot, it's a lefty. Probably wanted to go back to the righty for Peacock and then lefty, kind of mix things up. Usually that's smart to do, so that would be my reasoning for why he went with Peacock today instead of Miley, to just kind of mix things up. So we'll see how things go with their pitchers hitting in this Cincinnati. I'm kind of excited about this, and 6 o'clock games, which I prefer 7 o'clock are okay, but West Coast kind of gets annoying for a while. But anyway, we're up over 20 minutes, so I'll wrap things up there. Please like this video. I'd like to hear your feedback. Subscribe to my channel so you can get updates every time I upload these podcasts every Sunday night. Pretty late, so I'd suggest if you want to get a first-hand listen, Monday morning, early afternoon would be great. But again, please like the video, and I'd like to hear your feedback. And I'm going to be making these every week and keeping you up to date. So if you ever miss any Astros baseball or just want to hear my viewpoints, I'd love for you to give me a listen. And definitely, I'd love to listen and hear the comments. So, and hear your feedback. If I screwed up or messed up on anything, I'd love to hear what you have to say. So we'll wrap things up there, and we'll talk to you next week. See you then.